You are watching a clip from the Sports and Sorts podcast.
There was something overall that the Bri Man hated this weekend. I'm not really sure what he hated about this wild card weekend, but I would like to hear what it is. He told me he hated something, but I don't know what it is. So I wish we were on delay so I could possibly hit some bleeps. I don't know how.
No, I'm not going to swear. No. I've tried to swear off swearing.
That's good. That's good. Not in general, but just on the show.
One thing before I get to what I hate, though, I just want to touch on I want to touch very quickly on the Seahawks Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know what I was reminded of yesterday as I was watching that game, and the Seahawks are just trying to cram this running game down the Cowboys' throats, and it's not working particularly well. And you have a guy like Russell Wilson.
Oh, so that's
not it. No, it's not it. No, it's not it. No, it's not it. You have a guy like Russell Wilson who is capable of beating you a number of ways. He can create his own offense. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. He's one of the more accurate passers in the league. You have this incredible weapon, and you're just not utilizing him in a game that's a must-win game. I just didn't understand it. It was very odd to me.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me get on to the thing that angers me. Baltimore Ravens fans, what a bunch of assholes you are. Well, I don't know if is that a swear? I guess it is. What a bunch of clowns. Baltimore Ravens fans have got to be some of the worst, not the worst fans, just some of the worst people on earth. Some of the worst people. I actually saw a video this morning of these idiots fighting in the stands yesterday with each other. One guy actually was thrown a few rows from like the upper deck down into like a few rows down. It was actually kind of funny, but oh my God, Baltimore Ravens fans are the absolute worst people. They're so bad. First of all, they are going to run out of town a guy who is probably not going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, but a guy in Joe Flacco who had one of the greatest, if not the greatest, individual postseason runs I've ever seen a quarterback have, maybe shy of a Joe Montana mid to late 80s run. Joe Flacco, if you recall, when they won the Super Bowl a few years ago, had a postseason where he threw 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and was the Super Bowl MVP. He put that team on his back.
It's not bad.
And he carried them to a championship. Okay. Joe Flacco has been nothing but pretty much a class act since he's been there. He, not graciously gave away his starting spot to Lamar Jackson this year, but then again, if you're a starting quarterback and you don't believe your skills have diminished, or if you are at the very least in your heart and in your mind the better option than the guy who's going to replace you, then I don't have a problem with you being upset about that. In fact, I'd have had a bigger problem with him just stepping aside gracefully and saying, "Here you go, kid, take my spot. It's cool. I'm fine. I've done enough in this game. It's time for me to move aside so that the young guy can come in and take my slot." No, who does that? But I have so many people gave crap to Brett Favre when he, was pushed out in favor of Aaron Rodgers. And, I think Brandon's on here. And I would actually like to hear what Brandon thought about that, because at the time, I didn't think Brett Favre was done. And then Brett Favre went on to prove that he wasn't done. He had a couple of great seasons in Minnesota. He was not good at the Jets, but he was he brought how many games did he win with the Vikings? I think they're in his first year. So didn't he win the division?
Yeah.
So he was not done. Now look, Aaron Rodgers is obviously great. He's won a Super Bowl for you. He's a future Hall of Fame quarterback. They went to the Super Bowl
with Favre, right? The Vikings 1 year?
No, they did not go to the Super Bowl. He didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
He didn't?
No.
I thought he
I think he got to the NFC Championship game and lost, but yeah, he did not make it to the Super Bowl. But man, shame, and then to compound that, Ravens fans, shame on you then for booing Lamar Jackson, who's the future of your team. Who I will grant you did not have a great game yesterday. He had a pretty decent second half. He really turned it on in the second half, actually. If you look at the side-by-side numbers there, first half compared to the second half, it was amazing.
But they were chanting, "We want Joe Flacco."
Yeah, I mean, they were. But they're the biggest bunch of fickle clowns you could possibly imagine, because they're going to run first of all, they're going to run Flacco out of town. And Harbaugh's probably going to be gone too, because they're probably going to trade him because they can probably get a ton for him. I have a feeling the Dolphins might pay the equivalent, whatever would be stupid money, whatever the Dolphins are going to trade stupid compensation to get him, most likely. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if it was like a first and a third rounder to get a guy like John Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. But if you love the guy and you think he's the coach that can help establish your team and get them on the right track, then a first and a third round pick probably isn't all that bad, especially in a year where there's no good quarterbacks to draft. But man, shame on you, Ravens fans. You're all a bunch of clowns. You really are. You're just horrible, horrible human beings. You've run Joe Flacco out of town, a guy who did nothing but bring you a Super Bowl. And then you boo the future of the franchise, Lamar Jackson. But you'll all be loving him in a year or two when he's helping you win a Super Bowl with that great defense. And he's, making big plays with his legs and probably makes a couple of, really great throws in a playoff game. Then you'll all love him and you'll be cheering him. We didn't boo him. No, we didn't boo him 2 years ago. We were mad at the team. We were mad at ownership. We were mad because John Harbaugh was going to get traded. And, we thought we should have won that game. First of all, I didn't think there was any chance that they were going to win that game yesterday. So you could boo whoever you wanted. Let's face it, the Chargers are a better team. And you know what? The Chargers are a better team than the Patriots. Are they going to beat the Patriots? That remains to be seen. I'm not going to get into that prediction yet, but let's just say I don't see it playing out that way, unfortunately. But are the Chargers a better team than the Ravens? Yes, they were. They were a better team. They were the better team from start to finish yesterday. The Ravens put some points up late, but they were never really, I don't know, to me it never really felt like they were in the game that much, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
at the end, I guess towards the end there, when there were,
felt like there was a chance they could come back.
There was a chance, but
there was always so many. Jackson, like I had said last game, it was an
uphill climb for them the whole game, though.
And
when
Jackson
you get down
always
early,
seemed under pressure. He always seemed under
he was.
pressure, and he was constant. And when he's under pressure, he's gonna make mistakes in this league, in this game. Granted, maybe a couple years down the road from now, he won't be making those mistakes. But as a rookie in this particular situation, he's gonna make mistakes, and that's why he fumbled.
Sure.
And he had a rough game
overall,
a rough game, but he did come back.
I can't fathom booing him. Now, I could understand if you wanted Flacco to come in because, well, first of all, I mean, it's just, me. I have like a love affair, which I have a man crush on Joe Flacco. I've loved Joe Flacco since the moment he came into the league because I like guys who are clutch and I like guys with big arms, and Joe Flacco is both of those things. And I just felt like Joe Flacco was the guy that gave you the better chance to win yesterday. Do I think they would have won the game? No, because the Chargers are a better team. Yeah. Would they have had a bigger chance to win that game with a guy who is playoff tested and proven than a kid? Yeah. I don't even know if you can argue that. I mean, you could say, well, Lamar Jackson, especially in the second half, played well. And he was able to, throw the ball a little bit more confidently. Maybe he shook off the first half nerves, but the first half nerves are something Joe Flacco
It's funny. He played much better after he got booed.
He did. Well, probably because at this point he's thinking, man, it probably can't get any worse. It probably takes a little of the pressure off,
What do I have to do?
But the bottom line is, Ravens fans are just really kind of. I think they've had a reputation, and I think they're sort of supporting the stereotype out there that exists about them, that they're a bunch of a-hole clowns. They sort of proved it yesterday.
Thanks for
so good on you, Ravens fans. I'm glad we don't have to see you again until next year.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You have just watched a clip from Sports and Sorts, where we go live every Monday and Saturday on YouTube. Thanks for watching.